Alright, I didn't want to talk about this, but after seeing Proto Mario's video on the topic, I decided I might as well throw my hat into the ring and give my 2 cents on why the Pokemon Company is not including every single Pokemon in the upcoming games. Don't get me wrong, he did a great job in his video. But I feel like there are certain things he didn't really elaborate on or include in his video that he could have, or maybe he didn't think to. I don't know. Hopefully, if you're still confused by this design decision, my video will help you understand why they made this choice, and that no, Game Freak isn't failing to deliver anything to their fans. And they definitely don't hate us. First point, time constraints. I'm sure most of you can understand this as it's been explained repeatedly by now by people more famous than me. After the not so success of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Game Freak needed the next Pokemon titles to get out pretty fast to make up for the loss. And with their want to make each Pokemon more expressive and more interactive than they ever have been in the past, it makes sense that work on each Pokemon on a Pokemon to Pokemon basis will be a time sink. More so, I would argue, than each player's attempts at actually catching them all. Putting this much work into each individual Pokemon, I would argue that given there are 809 Pokemon, excluding those added in Sword and Shield. This would take upwards to another year, at the least, of work. Reminder that, while yes, it would have been great to have seen them put this much work into the games, and to see every Pokemon visualized to perfection, or as close to perfect as they can get. These are human beings who work at Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. They have families and lives outside of their job. And if Game Freak isn't making money, they don't get paid. And while, yes, all generations of Pokemon are currently being bought and sold at an incredible rate, the secondary game market does nothing for their employees. Second point, metagame relevance. Now, this entire part is merely my own speculation, but I would wager that most of the Pokemon being cut are Pokemon that are relatively unpopular picks amongst the fandom as it is. I don't want to name any specifically, but I'm sure you can think of a few on your own that don't exactly fit into any niches when team building. If that doesn't satisfy you, allow me to compare Pokemon to any other competitive video game, such as any fighting game. New characters are added to fighting games all the time. Most of them test dummies for exploring new ways to build move sets and new character designs that they think might be a hit. And not all the time are. And oftentimes these new movesets that they come up with for characters are absolute garbage. And so, these characters that perform poorly get shelved. Sure, they might come back for another game down the road, but they're going to either be completely gutted and reformatted to fit the metagame, or receive various nerfs or buffs depending on whether they were seen as overpowered or underpowered. It's no stretch to say that a lot of these new Pokemon, in Sun and Moon specifically, were created to fill a niche that older Pokemon were supposed to fill, but were never picked due to their unwieldy moveset or just not being popular. Third point, in which I'm a prick. These are fictional creatures! The number of them doesn't matter when over 95% of them aren't being used in a competitive fashion anyway! Dunsparce, get out! Hey guys, thanks for making it through that rant. I'm really working on enunciation and everything, and trying to remain unscripted with these kinds of videos. If you thought I did a good job, please give a like. If you didn't, dislikes are fine too, I completely understand. We all have varying views of things. Just be kind in the comments. Don't put me on blast too hard. I appreciate each and every view I get. It's a rough world out here in YouTube land. But yeah, if you want to see more, remember to subscribe. This is Kaiser, signing out. Peace.